seen, aside from Joe Biden's debate with the president, the first one where within the first 30 seconds you're like, this is not good. Remember how he's not the ones that say he's going to be I'm talking about Joe Biden against Trump. The first debate. It's disturbing to watch it. So
the summer.
Yeah. So Nancy, question for you. High school. Who were you in high school? Were you always feisty? Were you always like this?
I would say I was a pretty normal kid. I mean, I struggled with things like I failed biology one time, but I dropped out of high school. So when I was a junior, my third year, I dropped out of high school. My dad's a retired general. My mom was one of my school teachers at my high school, and they said if you're going to stop going to school, you got to start going to work. So I picked up a job as a waitress at a Waffle House on the side of the interstate back in 1995. That's where I got my start.
This is in Carolina?
South Carolina.
Wow, I lived in Columbia for 9 months when I was at Fort Jackson.
I was going to say, what were you there for?
First time I went to Waffle House was in South Carolina.
It's the best.
They hadn't seen people who look like me.
That's okay. They serve everybody, and it's the best cup of coffee you can get for $2.
Yeah.
There was no inflation at Waffle House.
We went hundreds
still
of
afford to
times.
go there.
So Waffle House. So General, did Dad teach the toughness when you're raised by General? It's the visualization of a father like that is everything's organized, top notch, high pressure, high expectation.
I would say he was tough as nails, and I probably where I get my attitude from, and I just don't give a you know what. But when I eventually would get my high school diploma, I would go to the Citadel. That place toughened me up. I mean, when you're getting a face full of mud and they're telling you to do 100 push-ups more, I mean, you just don't care if you have friends in Washington or not. When you're sitting in the barber's chair and they're cutting your hair to where you have like an inch on top, getting screamed at and everything, there's nothing else to lose. Like, that's what has hardened me for Congress, because Congress is not for the weary. If you want to be effective running for office these days, you might get shot. So it's a very very violent environment right now. And I mean, people are always throwing phones in your faces, recording you, cursing you out, yelling at you. A lot of times, and so and when you have very powerful people who've come after me, spending millions of dollars to try to get me unelected, and I win by record numbers, you gotta be tough for that, to be able to do that.
When are you planning on being a little bit more competitive? Fire is gonna show up. If it's
Boy, I came out of the womb breathing fire.
I kind of see it.
Yeah.
So let's go to this say this word over and over. Watch this. Just beautiful saying. Let's watch this. Go for it.
Has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community.
Hello there.
And
I'm
let me
surprised
please
you made it
finish
back.
without interruption. And
Tranny. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
okay.
No, thank you.
Let the gentleman state his parliamentary inquiry.
How does a basic common sense issue like this, how do they keep fighting this? Like, don't they realize most of America, including Democrats, are not for this, but they keep pushing it?
They're tripling down for 0.5%, which if you just read yesterday, the Democrat National Committee is broke. And they're losing donors left and right. And I think it's because they are doubling down on issues that average people, average Americans, average Democrats don't agree with. I don't know anyone in their right mind that would allow a fully intact male to undress next to their 12-year-old daughter in the locker room or shower next to her. That is just not a normal thing. And that's what the tranny movement, that's what this has become. It's like grooming and sexual, it's a fetish. And they are the party of violence, and they're party of pedophiles, the party of grooming and all those things, and it's now mainstream. And it's, I'm a mom and I'm a woman, and I'm very supportive. I voted for gay marriage, and I would do it again. I believe in freedom, like as a Republican, as a conservative. The government shouldn't tell you who to marry, right? I don't want them in your boardroom or in your bedroom. That's the libertarian in me. Now this thing has gotten so far, our rights are being erased. Women's rights, and gay rights, and the trannies have taken over. And for one, your mental illness, I'm not participating in your mental health crisis. Go talk to a therapist. Escorted or dragged on out.
In the world of the guy financial services. You're selling, you use your charm, your charisma, your looks. How often is it super flirtatious with you? How often is it there's policies going on and they come back and they try to, or you're able to win them over with looks, with charm and charisma? How often does that happen?
Not often. I mean, it happens occasionally, but not often. We've dug our heels in. It's very partisan right now. It's more partisan than it's ever been. And, I've done a lot of nonpartisan stuff, particularly on like technology and cybersecurity and everything, where I get all Democrats and all Republicans to vote for it. I'm 4 years. I mean, it's gotten worse. Jasmine Crockett. Wow, like that lady. That woman's off the rails.
You guys say that on the weekends?
Oh, hell no. I mean, that would not be a good situation. We'll just put it that way.
You guys run into each other when you do? Is there any conversation?
Not with her. I mean, when I first came in, I tried to get people the benefit of the doubt. But they've just gone so far off the rails. I won't talk to. But Jasmine Crockett and I will not be friends unless she can get her shit together and be a normal human. The last time I really heard from her at a hearing, she was telling me as a rape survivor that my fear was fake. That she didn't have fear and I was facing as a rape survivor. And I lost my shit and I told her we would take it outside. That's how angry it made me. So I have very little patience for any kind of BS right now. Just nuts. Because our country's on the right. It's really going one direction or the other. And I'm following Donald Trump to the end of the earth to make sure we get back to where our country is. So that's that.
Let's see this one.
I'm struggling right now, so she gonna keep saying trans, so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell each other.
Do not call me a child. I am no child.
I want even to know which of those emails actually has Chairman time in my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman.
Kidding. And they all lost their minds and like, what is she threatening? I'm sitting there.
The consequence of anti-book is increasing Step one, step two, be seen as the voice of the victim, and then try to win the empathy voters of everybody that says, look how noble these Democrats are, that they're doing for this victim, but they're inventing a victim. And then what they have to do is once you've invented the victim, you have to actually construct something of an argument that gets more loony the deeper you go into victims that aren't victims of what you invented. To the point where, you look and then CNN, you see Harry Enten on CNN, all the stats. He says, look, Hispanics have gone this way, and African Americans have gone this way. They're losing their grip on yesterday's victims, so they have to invent tomorrow's victims. And then you have to go down-home language like that, and actually, she didn't look very mature for what it does, which is just get in the halls of the legislature. So it looks like guess what?
Let's add one more step to that, because now in the last 2 weeks, it's get arrested and get elected. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing.
Be seen as the voice of the people and now get
Some people will get arrested and get out of that. I think this is a failing plan. People see it. It's crazy. They're lunatics.
Stop to you, Mr. Get on the record. You're saying you're not.
She does not have to.
I 6% dropping, but
Right, okay, got it. Somebody already got come on.
Her office is next door.
To one of the worst countries in the world. I don't know if you heard about this. It's a far-left representative Ilhan Omar stated in an interview on Democracy Now! Page published Friday. I mean, I grew up in a dictatorship, and I don't remember anything like that. Now, democracy, beacon of hope for the world.
coming out of our country. I mean, in a dictatorship. Don't ever remember democracy and beacon of hope for the world to now be turned into one of the worst countries where the military are in our streets without any regard for people's constitutional rights, while our president is spending millions of dollars to put himself up like a failed dictator with a military parade. It is really should be a wake-up call for all Americans to say this is not the country we were born in. It's not the country we grew up in. It's not the country of founding fathers. It's not the country that is supported by our constitution, our ideals, our values, and we should all humble.
There should be a limit for it. So what do you think about what she just said?
Well, I mean, this isn't the country she was born in. That's my first thought. She just talked about that. But one, she's saying she hates. It's the fact. It's the fact. But she's saying she hates the military. So to our men and women in uniform, number one, I want to say that's just un-American. We support our military. The parade was one of the greatest things I've seen in my lifetime. But quite frankly, I'm fine with putting on our one-way flight back to Somalia. You don't like it here? You think it's so bad you have a dictator as a president who, by the way, loves freedom, loves the Constitution, loves democracy, wants to protect it every single day. She can just go back to Somalia.
True question. Forget about
And the new husband.
how much is there a conversation behind closed doors? Because if anybody would know, you guys would know. Yes, no, all these things.
I am not sure. I noticed the rumor out there, but I never weighed in on
I
it.
just saw just recently the marriage certificate was online and it says his name, but people are like, yeah, but that's not her brother, but it's kind of looks like it. It's kind of weird. But you know what they talk about it? She's in Minnesota's what, fifth district in Minnesota. Like, is anything positive coming out of there from Tim Walz or? But they call it Little Mogadishu. They call like the amount of people that have been in trouble just in that area. That's not pro-American. Trust me. If she had it her way, it'd be freaking Sharia. They call it Shariaville. That's what they call that. If you let people like that take over and run the show, that's what the shit is going to become. And if you don't like this place, it is so easy. All you have to do, you could go to Orbitz, get a flight, and get the out of here.
I've seen parades in her district, and they don't have the American flag.
No, that's
They got the Somalian flags.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Flags.
When they have parades and do all their stuff, protests, they.
They wouldn't have a lot of American.
Not in her district. I'll find a Somalian flag. It's not Somali. It's the United States of America.
They go. Here's a question. Folks, you know how California or Illinois, these guys try to turn Texas to send people there to start. Let's do Texas blue. Let's turn Florida blue. Any suspicion of how long-term they're thinking? Where, you know, there's this discussion about the guy from, whether he was from ISIS or we have all the time. Do you guys, amongst the community, sense that there's a strategy ideology amongst the facilities?
It's not at the congressional level. It's definitely at the local level. Look at that guy who's running for, the local mayoral races, school races, municipal races, city council races, and where they're turning those city councils like neon blue, they're trying to get us to I can't say his name, but a socialist guy or whatever, that AOC is about the biggest office and then on down. But we have forgotten bottom up, which is where they have succeeded, and they've put these commies, these socialists, these people that are crazy and un-American at the level of offices that have no control. Look, the guy who was
the way, it's a phenomenal strategy if you're going to be doing it. Shaking hands. That's where you're going to shake your hands. So, long term, if this continues, the biggest issue with folks like Elon or Soran, Mamdani, or others that are fighting and working their way up. What's your concern long term, 10, 20, 30 years on what America like?
Yeah, it's the importation of these people with this ideology. It goes beyond a lot of our IOC. It's like we're bringing this ideology into our country by having the statewide we've had for the last 4 years. It's bad because just last week in South Carolina, Conway, South Carolina, small town South Carolina, a kid was just arrested because he affiliated with ISIS and planning a terrorist attack. This kid, look, I don't know, there he is. One guy with ISIS planning a terrorist attack in small town South Carolina. So the importation of this ideology, which I believe is coming from a corporation, and then spreading with the Democrat Party, they're being brainwashed into this thing. And this is a cancer. We cannot let it metastasize. You gotta have people who are pushing back hard the way that Trump has. You're not here legally, get the hell out. And just with everything, pushing back on all the crazy policies that allow this, especially the trans issues too. They've allowed that to become so mainstream. We're literally gonna have to push people back with our words. People got to get arrested. Like, you have to draw a line in the sand, and you've got to carry that line. You can't pull it back.
You're in this world. So, question for you: you're seeing what's going on in UK, right? To the point where they've lost
My brothers will not have died in vain.
Assembly, you got, religion that I can have, whatever, thing that I have. You can't put a stop to it. Even in Plano, when they were building that facility, the facility that Greg Gavin came out and said, we're going to have it, it's going to happen. So as ambitious and competitive as they are, they're coming to a city.
Good to see you.
It's going to happen. There's a guy that was on TV explaining the fact that any church in Florida that's shutting down, they're turning into.
Really?
Oh yeah, Texas too.
Oh, Rob, play this clip here, Rob.
I saw the thing in Texas.
Oh, no, you got to see this clip here because they're building. The Epic Center is one thing, but the part that matters the most is the ones that they're doing it locally. Watch this one here. Go for it.
We are buying these churches.
This is Florida.
We bought 3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have one we are buying with a school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. People who were part of that community, one day they will be Muslims. So we'll make it into a masjid and an Islamic school for our children and their children, inshallah. 100 years ago, they invaded the Muslim world and they built missionary schools and destroyed Islamic schools and masjids. Today, we bring the favor back, turn their churches into masjids and their schools into Islamic schools, bring the light of Islam to here. We're able to buy, ready to go, institutions that have been there for a long time, but they emptied out. And now it's time to be filled.
Right, so
That's great.
for a man who's a Christian, myself, I got 4 kids, I'm a Christian, but also in America, the way the Constitution was written, you're not illegal. So, you could say, the religion of Islam doesn't work with Western ideology, which is true. Many people would agree with that. It does not. The way they have Sharia law and what they'd like to see if they have more control. There's nothing to do about it. So if it's math, like, you look at the number when
You
Warren
can
Buffett.
ban Sharia law and make sure that they're not. I think it happens. I think it happens in the shadows. And I think, once you get people who've witnessed it or can report it and be anonymous, you go in that way and do it. That's the only way you can do it right now. It's making sure you ban Sharia law and make sure that it's not a thing in that community. And you arrest those who are breaking the law. That is the only way you do it. You have a legislature who will say no Sharia law, but it's illegal. You gotta have that law on the books, either in your state constitution or in statute. And then you gotta have enough law enforcement to make sure the law is being enforced. Because there was an effort in South Carolina near the Charlotte area to do something like this too. And that works. That's been going on for over a decade. So, we are seeing it in smaller states.
All right, I'm done with this bitch.
I'd like to take it. My wife is done. She's like,
I'm done with this dumb bitch.
Middle East, I would have 4 or 5. Maybe we got to move to Minnesota. Is what I'm thinking. But then we're like, hey, let's have this.
There are no laws in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'd say there or Utah, but it depends on what strategy you want to take. But when you see this, they're doing everything the right way. They're not breaking the law. Okay, they're not doing anything that they can't do. They're making more kids. They're converting people. They're being fanatical, loud about it. So they're marketing and selling. Hey, come, this is what we're gonna do. If you tell me what's gonna do. And you're sitting there being tolerant about it, and you're following the Constitution. Nancy, I hate to say this, I don't think there's anything you can do if they keep growing legally. I think it is a matter of time, purely due to compound interest, unless if somebody steps up and does something real about it. I don't think the current Constitution.
What was something real about it? How would you define real?
Well, that's your word, but I'm a regular guy. Finance the guy that's a business.
I support churches. I support my church, which is planting churches. So it's the same kind of thing. We as Christians in our faith, we plant churches not just here in the United States, but all around the world. So for people of faith like you, Jewish faith, Christian faith, whatever that faith is, planting churches, planting synagogues, we have to do the same thing too. And we've been doing it for thousands of years and have to continue doing it. I'm a big fan of our church and the church plantings. Our church, Seacoast Church in South Carolina, has planted over 1,000 churches worldwide. So we have to continue to spread the faith, our Christian faith.
I don't have kids though, so.
Oh, we're not. We're definitely. I have 2.
You
So
got one more.
I know I'm almost 50 though, so I think
That's
I'm
okay.
gonna choose.
Characters in the Bible that were having kids in their 80s and 90s. I tell that's my wife. That's my wife. But you know what I meant?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think about Tom. Are you processing what I'm saying on how, I think we talked about this in Kentucky a couple weeks ago. Where did you end up with this? What were you
Where I end up with it is, you have 2 choices, and it's a very binary choice. You have the battle of battles in the United States to stand up and say, we have freedom of religion, but this one, long term, is a non-starter. That is the battle of battles, and that's where it is. And otherwise, they'll use the law, and they will very legally expand their numbers, and then go see what happens. You think Little Mogadishu is an issue, wait until there's 50 of those individuals in Congress, and suddenly that whole wing of Congress, well, there's Little Mogadishu, the whole Congress. So the battle of battles is to stand up and say, hang on, we do have freedom of religion. That was built at a time that this was happening
For Christianity.
for our faith and for pilgrims. And remember, they'll say, hey, the Muslims are religious zealots with guns. Well, who are the pilgrims? They weren't exactly unarmed peasants. And so that's where it is. It's turning the page and saying, this doesn't fly, and we have to create frameworks and legislation, because otherwise the long-term outcome of it is immigration, procreation, assimilation, and finally, then you get conflict on the legal forums and say, wait, why do we let this happen? Because the weeds grew in the field, and you didn't see a decision back then.
countries, I don't know how many Christians can move up politically. I don't know if I have to have a certain denomination. I think if somebody is coming in, like, you know, hey, you're in America, you want to become a citizen, you got to be able to answer these certain questions that you go through, whatever the 10, 20 questions they are. And who's this, who's the vice president, what are the three races? That's the music now. Something in place where, you know, and I just straight up doesn't work. You can't come and create laws. You cannot come and create laws. And if we create that at the state level, I'm going to get so much hate for saying this. I'm going to get so much hate for saying this. To me, if somebody sits there and says, you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Well, it's just going to be a
For allowing to show us the world. It's basically a subsidiary of the FBI.
Awesome. So when are you running for governor?
I have to make the decision.
Are you gonna make that decision?
Yeah. I can't say I'm a candidate because then I have to declare. So we're thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm dead serious about it. I just, you know, we're a red state, and it's supposed to be law and order and conservative, but it's not. I mean, I just found a couple weeks ago Clemson University had 15 genders on a form on their website. I did a video on X. I called the president of the college. 3 hours later, they took it down. Two other colleges have the same sort of thing. This gender-bending ideology is everywhere. States have funded it to allow this DEI, tranny stuff to happen. We had a sanctuary sheriff in South Carolina for the last week, and she was working with ICE, and I found out she was no one who was in statewide office said a damn thing. They could have impeached her, and then the voters could have elected a new one. But I just said, you know, we don't have law and order, and there's a lot of corruption, and I've been through the system as a survivor, and I see all the corruption between our solicitors, the lawyers that fund the solicitors' campaigns, the corruption with our AG. Our AG had a case that he prosecuted with 1,900 photos that this pedophile had, convicted pedophile, of toddlers as young as 3, being raped by animals.
Afternoon.
He had 6 indictments. Our Attorney General, Alan Wilson, pled him down to 1. And his sentence, guess what? Guess how many days he served in jail? Anybody want to guess?
0.
2 years.
How many days did he serve in jail?
Less than a week.
1 day. We have 350 cases in South Carolina.
There's some police that are sitting.
What is the name of this?
They're idle murder cases.
353 in just one county, in a rural county in South Carolina, Sumter, kind of near Charlotte, upstate. They have 60 cases. I can't. There's a case in Myrtle Beach that the Wall Street Journal is covering. So that's why he's Tuesday. He was shot. He shot him 7. Jason Miller in my class. He shot him 17 times. He was basically got killed by a shot in the back. AG wouldn't prosecute. Government wouldn't do anything. Solicitor buried the stand. Come find out the tapes later. The shooter knew the guy was terrified. But then he chased him down the road. He didn't know prosecution. So I'm actually trying to talk to the feds. Not just pieces that I'm working on, but like the entire state. Like, how does this happen? We're pedophiles out on the streets that we have in jail. Murderers are out running free. Rapists running wild. Try to get a rapist convicted in my state. You can't. And so it's just, if I do it, I'm gonna be the drop the hammer, law and order, Trump in high heels. I'm coming for you. And if you're a pedophile, you ain't voting for me. You're voting for the pedophile protector. Like, I'm gonna vote for the criminals. I'm gonna make sure our state is safe. Florida's doing a great job of their governor. DeSantis. Florida's doing a great job of their job. I'm gonna raise America first. This is happening. These are not like him personally. He's a Republican governor, but this has happened while he's been in office. And I'm a fighter. I would never allow, like, my daughter going to college to get my own position going to shower. This is what I think is North and South Carolina, and everyone is just very nervous to stand. And that is not America first. It's not going to stop. And I love him personally. He's a great guy, great people. Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, nothing about any of this. And I'm the one who's exposing it. The pedophile I mentioned, Dr. Rush, just got arrested for the second time. He violated a sexual initiated claim or something. But the real reason he got rearrested is because I've been talking about it all along. And so it's like, I'm not even out yet. And I've forced these universities to stop, putting trannies on their gender forms, on their applications for college. I've stopped one of the university from promoting cross-dressing on their website. Trying to expose what's going on, in our justice system or injustice system. And I don't even hold state office. So that just says to me, I'm the only one screaming about it, that we need new leadership who's going
What's
to...
this, Rob? What's this?
This was from 2 days ago. This was about the Attorney General that was mentioned earlier, Alan Wilson.
So can we look into Alan Wilson? Can you go a little bit deeper? Can you go to his profile? I just want to see what his background is. So Alan Wilson, a member of South Carolina National Guard, 51st General, South Carolina member of the Republican Party. So this guy's a Republican. Wilson has litigated blocked same-sex marriage and now former McCarrick challenge. So we'll go a little bit to the right to see what we
He's
see.
an Echo baby. He's the son of Congressman Joe Wilson. He's been in office for 16 years, and this shit's been going on with him as Attorney General. He likes to put out the press release, hey, we arrested this pedophile, but he will not put out the press release of what the conviction was, if they get convicted at all. That's how bad it is. I need the feds to come in and take over our state, because what happens is, we have a legislature filled of lawyers. They elect the judges, and then the legislators and other lawyers, they fund the campaigns for the Attorney General. They fund the campaigns for the solicitors. In fact, the solicitor working on a case that I am a key witness in right now, her last big fundraiser was headlined by the attorney for 2 predators who are being investigated by law enforcement. Evidence has been leaked to these guys. And so the system is just so corrupt. I don't think anything going. You can't go back. I need the feds to come in and take over the state. That's what needs to happen.
You just made an incredible case of why the people of South Carolina need a different governor.
Yes.
And there was a leak on the 17th 2 days ago that Alan Wilson's rally and formal announcement will be on Monday the 23rd.
Yes.
On Monday.
Correct.
He is announcing he's had exploratory going for a while. Okay, so he's in. He's in with money. Monday the 23rd coming up. It says, when will the people of South Carolina hear from you about exploratory committee or definitive announcement?
I don't do
You just made a
exploratory.
case.
Yeah, I don't do exploratory. Once I'm in, I'm all in 100%. They're just all in. I don't like the idea of exploratory. I am still in session in DC. I'm still talking to family. I'm getting around the state, listening to people and hearing where they are. I'm not in a rush. Every poll that's out there, I'm ahead in every poll, which is not where you want to be when you're starting out running.
One or two, and
You want to be 2 or 3. But I know that if I decide to do it, my sense is the people are going to be with me. I had a town hall last night. Democrats will tell you I never have town halls. We had a town hall last night. We had 300 people at least RSVP last night for this thing in kind of a remote part of Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Everywhere we go, hundreds of people show up. They don't have that. And I'm just making sure that I get my ducks in a row with my family. I've got 2 kids. I've got parents to think of. And I'm spending some time with my children over the next couple of weeks. And we'll decide by the end of summer. So I want to make sure if I do it the right way. I run my own races. I don't play by anyone's playbook. I don't care that he's announcing on Monday. I think it's a terrible time. He leaked that he was announcing 2 days ago on the 10-year anniversary of Mother Emanuel, where 9 black church members were murdered while they were reading scripture. So it just, the timing of it, tone deafness, I'm not in a rush because he's not going to win, but him getting in might force me to run because he cannot be governor.
I think you indirectly announced your run. Take it as an indirect announcement. When I run, it was an indirect announcement that was made. But here's a question for you. Your ads,
Hi.
Hello.
you know, tough and strong and calling out and talking shit like you are, they're going to come after you.
They are.
Okay.
Back
No good.
To come after you.
Ow.
Oh my god, what was that?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, what was that?
Shoulder
Oh.
right here.
Jeez, I know how I feel. Fucking crack-a-lacky.
I can't tell you how many times I've talked to a reporter. Okay, they're accusing you of doing this, and I with 7 anonymous sources, and they're all disgruntled former employees because I fire people. I'm like Trump. If I don't think you're doing a good job or you're unethical, you're gone. And so we don't have the paperwork, we don't have reporting, we don't have a text, we don't have.
All right, we gotta figure this out, babe. We're at a stalemate.
I'm getting ready to file a lawsuit on this today or tomorrow or by Monday. Who lied in a deposition to
I
say
bet you
blackmailed
are.
somebody. And I literally have all the
Did you make
receipts.
eggs earlier?
No, we didn't meet
No.
when you said we'd meet.
Like we're 17, so we're good there.
Nope, I didn't wait to withhold evidence from law enforcement for a year.
Ah.
I didn't blackmail anybody. In fact, the guy that's alleging
It's a character in the game.
actually allegedly attempted to
Game.
blackmail me last year. Politics
Ash,
in South
yeah.
Carolina is a very dirty business. So these guys will do fake depositions.
Let's do.
They filed a fake fictitious company to file a fictitious lawsuit with fictitious defendants, knowing they were targeting me, and then had a guy lie under oath and subpoena that the judge never even approved, and violated my civil rights. But I'm like, I literally have to sue them now, all of them, and I'm doing that today or tomorrow to say, here are the receipts, buddy. And here's where you lie. But in South Carolina, if you perjure yourself, do you think that they go after you for perjury?
Sure,
No.
pedophiles that are having 4-year-olds have sex with animals. It's like, what the hell are we talking
So it's gonna be in public and all that, but that's why I fight back, and I'm suing people who need to be sued, and I'm holding them accountable, and I will talk about it in the most public place possible to hold people accountable, because it might be the only justice, the only truth that I get. Which is why I am a fighter. I don't wilt. I don't.
What are you
flee.
doing?
I also have post-traumatic
Right here,
stress
honey.
disorder, which is why sometimes I go off in those videos because I feel like when you're being attacked, when you have PTSD, you either fight or you flee. And I sure as hell am getting out of there alive. I'm the only one coming out alive,
Right,
so I
right,
fight
right
back.
here.
So that's what I'm doing.
What is the story that says Nancy May shows nude photos of herself in
I hate
House
you.
hearing that says she was recorded without consent.
Yeah, I did it in May 20th of this year. So about a year and a half ago, I uncovered some
Yep.
things that were very
Right here.
disturbing, including videos of me being recorded without my knowledge, without
Awesome.
my permission, without my
Oh,
consent.
this one right there
I also
too.
identified other women that were recorded on this camera without their knowledge, without their permission, without their consent. And today, a year and a half later, since I came forward to law enforcement with all this evidence, including metadata, photos, video, and other
Thanks, babe.
evidence, no one's been arrested. And
That's fine.
if that
I'll be
happened
catching
to
up
a
with
member
you
of Congress,
in
and
10,
nobody
11,
lifts a
20 years.
finger, because this is against the law. This is a hearing I had an oversight about surveillance in private spaces, and that's my body.
I might have fucked myself, but we're gonna find
Tame.
out.
It's the silhouette. You can tell that it's me, my long hair and everything. But today, year and a half later, no one's been arrested. And to have to say as a woman, we want to be believed. We want people who violated justice, when this happens to you, and there were lots of videos and photos, I can't unsee what I've seen. When this happens to you, it feels like you're physically being raped. I have post-traumatic stress disorder of what I saw of myself that I had no idea was recorded, and it's humiliating. And I don't know, was it sold on the dark web? Was this going to be used to blackmail me in the future? I have no idea why this individual did this to me, and he did this for years. And I uncovered
Who's the individual? Did you find out?
my former fiance, someone I was engaged to, someone I trusted. I gave him my life savings. I owned property with him. I found evidence going back a decade of upskirt photos, and I showed some of those in this hearing. And so, you know, I'm a key witness in an investigation. I'm a key witness in now a civil suit. One of the victims was allegedly sexually assaulted. It was filmed, and I found it on his phone. And so
Is your ex-fiance conservative, or is he, I'm assuming he's conservative.
I don't know what he is. I mean, I'm not going to comment
The
on him.
only reason I'm saying that is because to see if it's something that the opposition is using to, because they're going to come after you. You're loud. You're loud. You're non-stop loud. It's not like you're coming in like, hey, let me kind of relax and get to know everybody. Like, no, I'm here. Boom. You're full of shit. You're full of shit.
Yep.
I'm not going to do this. Tranny. Hey,
I'm
what is the
coming in
woman?
hot,
Yeah.
always. But the solicitor is very good friends with one of his attorneys who's representing two of the four people that I talked about in my floor speech in February. But, you know, I have knowledge of our solicitor obstructing justice for me and other women who are victims, either rape victims allegedly or victims of voyeurism in this thing. There's been evidence that's been leaked, and I believe it was the solicitor that leaked evidence to people who shouldn't have had it. And the solicitor, Scarlett Wilson is her name, her last big fundraiser last year before her re-election was headlined by attorney Jerry Theos. Jerry Theos is the attorney for two of the four predators who are being investigated today. I have the invitation. I haven't made it public yet, but he reps my ex and one of his business partners in these cases. And so they're leaking stuff and leaking information, I believe. And I believe she's the one doing it. And so it's just this corrupted system, and he should not. I mean, women just deserve justice. I just want you to do your job, follow the law, and put people in jail who've broken it. And you just can't. She doesn't want to prosecute rape cases, and there's a history of that in her office. She doesn't believe the victims. She's got a political bias against me. Unfortunately, I'm the key witness because I found all this stuff, but she's got political bias against me, and I believe that we can puncture the seal of qualified immunity. And Scarlett Wilson, I hope you're listening. I believe you can be sued. I don't believe you can be protected by qualified immunity because of the way that you have inserted yourself into this investigation and have obstructed the investigation. And if you get your shit together and do the right thing, there could be a different conversation. But right now, that's what it looks like.
Wow. Scarlett A. Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And Jerry Theos, the attorney for these guys in this investigation.
How do you spell the last name?
Theos. He was the attorney for the pedophile I mentioned, Donald Grash, earlier. It's just this nasty, corrupt. Everyone's scratching everybody's back. Nobody wants to go to trial. There are no trials. You know, you just plead down to the least common, least worst indictment, the easiest thing to indict on. Nobody serves jail time. Everybody gets rich, either with your campaign or your law firm with your clients who you're defending who aren't going to jail.
Are you planning on at any time to slow down and not take the approach that you're taking?
No.
Okay, so this is going to continue.
Yeah.
This is going to continue as long as you know it. And you know.
Oh, and they're coming after me. Let me tell you. I mean, if you're willing to file a fictitious company, to file a fictitious lawsuit, and have someone lie under oath, what else are you willing to do? But you know, I have a great legal team. I have great staff. I have a great platform. And all I'm going to do is tell the truth, and the people can decide. But what I will tell you, because I've come forward as a victim, as a key witness in this thing, I'm learning about other cases like Scott Spivey's case. The family came to me. You know, these families are begging for help because there needs to be a trial in that murder case. But there was a kid that was just run over with a car by someone who was mentally ill in Sullivan's Island, South Carolina. And the families not being informed by their victims' rights advocate in South Carolina about when the hearings are for this guy. In my case, I didn't get a victims' rights advocate for 11 months. And guess what? I had to go through the Attorney General's office, who denies he knew anything about it. I got my victims' rights advocate through his office. And one of the rape victims didn't get her victims' rights advocate until the day of my speech, like an hour before my speech. So it's just, you know, and I've got people all over the state. Hey, this case happened, this murder, this rape, this pedophile. I went to law enforcement, nothing happened. And when I was also physically assaulted on my way out, I had bruises all over the left side of my body, and I showed it to law enforcement and was told point blank, we're not going to investigate it. Like, if that's happening to me as a prominent member of the community, then what's happening to the little black girl in North Charleston when she comes forward? You know, victims are treated like criminals are treated like victims, and that's what's going on. Which like I'm going to be begging the feds. I'm working on it. It's a really long letter. It's taken a while, but somebody's got to take over the state and make right what's been so wrong in South
Well,
Carolina.
it sounds like the state's about to get a new governor. That's what it sounds
I
like.
hope like hell they are.
Yeah, well, let's see what's going on. She's going to make the announcement you're saying. All right, so a couple things. Yesterday, Tucker had Ted Cruz on.
92 million. I'm just going to say that there are 92 million people in Iran.
Gotta try it. Like, it's almost like a mountain. It's all natural, no preservative crap in these at all.
Ted Cruz on. Is this the clip? Which clip is this, Rob?
This is the population.
Good, isn't it?
Okay, go for it. Play this clip. Play this clip.
Well, unreal.
I don't know the
I'm
population.
a big fan of dark chocolate, but he's
I don't know the population.
Yep.
You don't know
Dark
the population
chocolate's
of the
better
country
for you than milk
It's a top.
chocolate.
I've heard that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But how many
There's
people on
something in,
Earth?
I forget what it's
Okay.
called, but there's something in dark
Yeah,
chocolate that
I
actually
did not
is
know that.
good for you.
I don't sit around
But
memorizing
I
population.
was like, this has organic
Because you're
coconut,
calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why
organic
is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is it
Asara syrup,
I didn't say I don't know anything about
dark
this.
chocolate, and
They are Persians
King
and
sugar.
predominantly Shia.
and king and
No,
coconut butter.
you don't know anything
Sugar
about
butter.
Iran. So, okay, I am not the
None of that
Tucker
preservative
Carlson
crap like you
expert
get in all these
who
other.
says he's calling for the overthrow of the country. No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who
We
claims
got
they're not
more
trying
ice
to burn
cream, I don't know how much ice cream
You're
will
the
work
one
down there.
who can't figure out how the country
You're
kills
more,
General
my
Soleimani.
husband's a big ice cream person,
Trying to murder Trump. Yes,
so
I do.
when I just
You're
did a
not calling for
Walmart
military
order,
strikes against them in
so we
retaliation.
got
Okay, we're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel
what
was.
did we get?
With our help. I said we, Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, there's some breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on
We're gonna be
Israel's
soft
behalf in
with
any
ice
offensive
cream.
capacity.
We're not calling them Israel.
Oh, he'll devour a
You
lot
just
of
said we
one
were.
of these.
Yeah.
We are
Sure,
supporting
it's
Israel.
just
You're saying-
still-
if you're saying the United States
He
government
loves
is
ice cream more.
war on Iran right now, people are listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your
And he
thoughts?
does his late at night.
Well,
He'll mix like
I
two
learned
or
that there were
three
92
different
million people
flavors
in
and
Iran,
then
and by the way,
syrup.
over 60% of Iranians are Persian and 61%, and over 90% are Shia. So after that interview, I went to a table of population to see what the makeup was. Ted Cruz is right. There are actually 3 people, I just looked up their names, 3 people in federal custody currently for Iran has been trying to assassinate Trump. They had plans to. Asif Marchand, Carlisle Rivera, and Jonathan Lodeholt are people that are in federal custody right now as part of that. And also Iran also attempted to assassinate, they've also tried to assassinate other people. They are a real threat. Former secretaries, etc., have had those threats on their life. But I'm with Trump on this. I'm with Trump on the Iranian-Israel situation. I was in Israel a couple months ago, and I've been briefed on what Iran had and did not have at the time. And I agree with Trump that I believe that they are close or were close to having a nuclear weapon. I believe, timetables, depending on what intel you talk to, timelines might be slightly different, but everybody knows it's pretty close. And everybody knows where they're getting their sources from and what material Iran was getting from where. All of that is known. And it's been known for a long time. This is the closest they've ever been. In fact, I was really pleased to see last night, or in the middle of the night, Israel bombed Iraq, which is one of their nuclear facilities that had heavy water that's used. You get plutonium out of that, and I hope that Israel sees this till the end and that we're going to be there. I actually texted the president 2 days ago, and he texted back, and I told him that we needed to take out their nuclear facilities.
This is President Trump.
Yeah. And even if we had to give them a 30,000-pound bunker buster to do it in the B2, I think we should do it. We have an opportunity now to put this to bed, and the world will be safer. And the media will report on it now, but there are major Gulf states who support Israel's effort. Nobody in their right mind wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I also don't want our troops in Iran. I don't want no feet on the ground, no soldiers in Iran, just like Ukraine. No. But if we need to provide some equipment like we did with Ukraine to Israel to finish the job, I'm okay with that. But we have allies in the Middle East, large Gulf states who are supportive of this effort.
Can I ask a question? So Nancy, and because I'm going to give you, what do you say to the people that have seen, for instance, Bibi Netanyahu for 40 years saying, Iran is 2 weeks away from a nuclear weapon. 2 years later, Iran is, and now it's gotten to the point where the people are questioning the intelligence because, for instance, if I want, mind you, Bibi is very, very unlike in his own country. There was about to be a revolution before October 7th happened. What do you say to the people that are like, you know what? Just like when I was in the United States Air Force during Bush, trust me, one of the reasons I left was because they lied. And
They did lie.
Which Bibi was one of the main voices saying Saddam Hussein has nuclear weapons and taking out Saddam would cause positive reverberations throughout the region. It did anything but. So what do you say to people that are like, hey, listen, Israel, and I get it, he doesn't want anybody to freaking have nuclear weapons, especially Iran that says, they're little Satan and we're big Satan. But what do you say to people that the story seems like it's the same story? That's one question. And the second one is, what is the plan for the regime change? If you're going to go in there and take everybody out, we've talked about this. Is there a plan kind of behind the curtains that's like, okay, Reza or somebody, because if you just take everybody out, those 92 million people are going to be like, what about us? So what do you...
Yeah, no, I was with you on Iraq. The whole weapons of mass destruction and what we did to our country, taking away our liberties. After that, spying on Americans and everything, and we were lied to. The difference here, this to me, it feels different. I have been briefed. I have been in a skiff and heard some of the intel that has been acquired. Now, different intelligence agencies and countries might have a slightly different timeline, but it's all the same. They're very close based on, and that's what Trump said the other day, and based on what I've been briefed on, I believe that he is right. Now, with regards to regime change, that's up to the Iranian people. Over 80% of Iranian people do not want the Ayatollah in power. They don't want the mullahs, the IRGC, Khamenei, they're not in on this. And so I have worked a lot of human rights around the world. I've worked a lot with Iranian former political prisoners. And my sense is with the Iranian people, one, they want a regime change. There's a shadow government of people there that would take over, that want freedom, that want democracy, that want a non-nuclear Iran. You have the former king, as you mentioned, potentially. You have Miriam Rajabi as well. She's in Europe. There are leaders around the world or nearby that would want what the Iranian people...
Shadow Warriors AI was updated, and the new unique weapon, Whispering Mirage, lets you summon additional shower for each claw. She could also play 1 or 2 of these. This might be useful until farming the rare crafted claws. Shadow Warriors can't use Blade Dance. It only does 1 trick damage using Blade Fury. If you use Blade Sentinel normally, Shadow Warriors mimic the skills you have and the left and right buttons of your mouse. So if you use Shadow Warriors, always keep Blade Sentinel on left click and your main skill on right. Switch weapons, CTA plus Lidless Wall. Helm for Blade Dance. Getting his face's best option. Mostly FHR and Deadly Strike are also welcome, and Helm is cheap for Blade Dance. Any plus skills Helm are okay. Probably a rare crafted circlet with skills. Steel Shade and HQS are okay too. Defensive alternative. Best corruption, just 3 sockets. Damage tools. Other roll +1 skills. This option is better. Chest. Fortitude rune word is kind of standard chest in any skill. Charisma is BIS, especially on Blade Dance. Expensive. What that goofy bastard just said. Nice.
Fucking nasty. What the fuck?
I don't know what you're talking about, babe. Wait, I'm a nightmare.
You fart like a toddler.
What do you mean I fart like a toddler?
You nasty.
I know fart like toddler.
Yeah, you did.
I know fart like toddler.
Gross.
Burn. I know fart like toddler.
I'll put that to good use.
Babe, I farted. Uh-oh. He's gonna get yelled at.
Go. You're not understand. Go.
I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use.
Oh my god, that damage gets cut in half. Why? All because of IS? Oh, strength.
I'll put that to good use.
Oh my god, it's by one?
Use.
Oh, we get it right here.
I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use.
That's crazy.
I'll put that to good use.
Greetings.
Yeah, that bitch ain't dying now. got 31 life leech. Sheesh.
Well, hello guys.
Hello. Um. Oh, my res is poop dick. See if we can do this. Big shield over here. Is res. Stay here and wait.
Not even death can save you from me.
Fucking melted him.
Hello.
Alright, babe, we're slamming it. Here we go. It's arrived. 3 holes. Woo! That's what we wanted, baby. Let's go. So we could put this on. It'll give us negative fizz, and then we could put some PD joules in it. What do we got here? Run walk, IS. IS is good, but that's it. I don't like the way she talks to him.
What do you need?
What do you need?
I gotta get ready for work. Max damage. 22. 34. 35, 35. 34. 34. Enhanced damage 104. Okay. Chance to block 70%. Okay. NK. I don't have time. I gotta